A story of promise, patience, and a love that found its way back home. In the cradle of green hills and wildflower-covered meadows lay a quiet, timeless village named Willowmere. It was a place untouched by haste, where time slowed down, the wind whispered secrets, and the morning sun painted gold across rooftops made of clay and thatch. The village was small, just a few cobbled paths, one crooked well, and a tall banyan tree that stood like a silent guardian at its heart. And in a corner of this peaceful world, lived a girl named Liana. She was 16, soft-spoken, thoughtful, and wise beyond her years. Raised by her grandparents after losing her parents to a stormy winter, Liana had grown up with quiet strength. Her grandmother often said, "Greater than, some children bloom early, like wild roses between stones." And Liana was exactly that. Each morning, before the sun could climb over the hills, Liana would rise. She'd fetch water from the stream, her bare feet brushing dew-kissed grass. Then she'd knead dough beside her grandmother, the aroma of woodfire and fresh herbs filling the kitchen. Her afternoons were spent tending the herb garden, reading old storybooks under the tree, or helping her grandfather polish his wooden walking stick. But every evening, when the shadows grew longer and birds flew home in verses across the sky, Liana would walk to the gate and gaze at the path that led to the edge of the village. Because somewhere beyond those hills, lived a memory, Elias, her childhood companion. They had grown up as one soul in two hearts. Climbing trees, laughing in the rain, sneaking mangoes, playing pretend weddings with flower crowns and wooden rings. And one day, just before his family left for the city, he had taken her hand, looked into her eyes and said, "Greater than, promise me you'll wait. No matter how long it takes, I'll return." Liana had nodded, too young to understand time, but old enough to feel forever. Hourglass and then, years passed. Seasons changed like scenes in a silent play. Letters stopped. The city swallowed Elias, and silence returned in his place. The villagers whispered that he must have forgotten her, moved on, found someone new. But Liana's belief never wavered. On her birthdays, she still wore the sky-blue dress he liked. She made mango jam with the same recipe they once scribbled in a notebook. Even as she laughed with neighbors, danced during harvest festivals, or sat quietly by the fire, part of her always waited. She had made no vow out loud, but her heart had, and it waited faithfully. Cloud with rain. Then came the afternoon that changed everything. It had rained that morning. The earth smelled fresh, and clouds still hung like soft wool above the trees. Liana was helping her grandmother hang washed linens in the courtyard when she heard it, the soft clip-clop of a horse. Slow, deliberate, unfamiliar. She turned, and for a moment, he'd missed too long. He asked the baker first, then the woman at the well. "Greater than, does Liana still live here?" "She does," came the reply, "but who are you, traveler?" "Someone who came back for her," he whispered. When Liana saw him, truly saw him, her knees almost gave way. It was him. The same eyes. The same smile, now lined with stories and distance. But his gaze was still hers. He stepped closer, removing his satchel, as if shedding years of silence. "I came back," he said gently. "Not just for